Hello again. So you've now made your Noodle Tools project and shared it with your teachers. The next step is for us to start finding resources. This is something we are going to work on extensively in Lang and Lit. But since teachers are in conferences for part of the day and you're working on your Plex, we wanted to make sure that you weren't waiting for us to catch up with you. So we've tried to help you out a little bit. The first thing you're going to notice on this slide, I'm in the slides for today, is that this is slide 7, might be around there when by the time you get to work. We've made a Padlet for you guys to help with research. So we know we have a number of categories. You should be able to click on the hyperlink here and access the Padlet. So that linked text will take you here. So Miss Hill created this for you guys, and she has tried to put together all kinds of resources that we know to be trustworthy, which we'll get to all of that part soon. But you can see she's made a category for news and current events. So you can see News ELA or Newsella, Info Please, KPC Notebook from Scholastic, which is Kid Reporters, um, Kids News, the New York Times, Your Commonwealth. I mean, there's so many things for especially news and current events. We've also pulled some reliable history sources. So National Geographic, history.com, Science News Explores, different science resources, which sometimes history and science go hand in hand, global issues, the World Health Organization, UN, the Sustainable Development Goals from UN, humansociety.org, worldwildlife.org. So there's tons of these global issue sources. Then we also have a category here for just like reference materials and search engines that you can use. So Britannica School is one that ICS has on their middle school, high school research site, which we will get to soon. I know Miss Legita's already showed you, but we also have some Kiddle, Kid Rex, so you can scroll through these. Hopefully, these kind of categories will help you decide where you might want to start with some of your inquiry questions that you worked on last week for Plex. So you can look through this Padlet, and then you are going to add, all you're doing right now. The only thing you're doing is you are looking to see if you can find a resource that you think will be something you're going to use. When we're in class, we're going to actually and analyze the sources and look at them in depth and decide whether they're quality sources for what we need. So I've clicked on News ELA. I'm going to sign in. I'm just trying to collect resources here. So I'm going to sign in, which might take a moment. We'll see how quickly we can get there. And let's just pretend I keep giving you guys the example of that middle school science teacher that I listened to her talk about video games and how she wanted to share a message with parents about how to make video games a positive thing in their home because she was constantly dealing with parents feeling negative about them and she enjoyed video games herself. So this particular topic is what I'm going to look for in News ELA. So I'm trying to think of maybe some of my inquiry questions. So maybe I have, obviously factual, but maybe debatable. So can video games have a positive influence? So, or what are the benefits of video games? So I'm going to search here. Now, I'm just going to use some keywords here. I'm not going to just type out my entire inquiry question. So I'm just going to say benefits of video games. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to look up this and let's see what pops up. So a video game timeline. Um, Interesting how Black engineer changed the video game industry forever. So some history of video games in here. Um, this teenager is developing a video game that assesses your mental health. That might be something cool as I try to think about positive aspects of, look at this. Innovative Research Center uses games to promote learning. Now, remember, we might ask a good question, and that doesn't mean that every article or piece of information we find related to it is going to be a direct answer. I'm not necessarily going to find an article that says these are the benefits of video games. But if I look at this, I could say, okay, video games can promote learning. So maybe this is a good resource for me. So I'm just going to keep finding these resources and keeping track of them. Now, as a teacher, obviously I can, in New Zealand, you can change the level, but also Miss Jones can assign it. So I might just look through here and kind of skim and scan this one. Gaming and science, learning is fun with games. This looks pretty short. Okay. That's too short for me at this text level. So let me up this and I'm going to put it right here. Not quite the max, but close enough. All right. And then, I'm seeing gaming plus learning plus society. Ooh, okay. So this actually looks new avenues in education. I'm seeing some stuff here that might actually benefit and teach me a little bit about how I think video games might have benefits. Okay. So this looks like a great article. So there's one. Remember, I'm looking for as many things, many resources as I can put together. Okay. So I'm starting at this Padlet. I've only clicked on the first resource, and that took me to quite a few articles. So I'm going to go back and maybe I'm just going to keep looking through News ELA. I'll focus on News ELA right now. This one looks great. I'm going to bookmark that one. And I'm honestly not sure yet if you have that ability as a student, but let's hope that you do for now. Ooh, a new wave of video games could build empathy on racism and environment. Okay, that might be one that's also a good one. Okay, so I'm going to click on that and read it. If I like it, I'm going to save it. Okay. So I'm just going to do that for as many different of these of resources I can find through the sites that we've shared with you on the Padlet. Okay. So once you feel like you have those, we'll move to the next step. So right now, you just need to be looking for resources. So we are at the finding resources part here. And the next part, in a separate video, I'm going to talk about Noodle Tools.